Hello you, how you going out there, right there on the internet? I got a question for you. Do you ever see builds out there that are these blacked out builds with no RGB? I'm guessing probably yes. Well, what if we did the same thing but white? That's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do a fully whited out build in the new Montech AIR. Claire just looked at me, whited out. What?
Whited out?
Whited out. We're gonna do, I don't know what to call it, but we're gonna do a white build with no RGB in the new Montech AIR 903 Max. Usually I would review a case like this, and fair enough, like I'm not really gonna review it because it's a glass box, right? But it does look really cool. But I will test the thermals for you guys because that's the kind of nice guy that I am. I will test the thermals, so we'll let you know what the performance is like. You need to pick whether or not I use the stock fans or the other fans that I'm thinking of. Now, I'll let you make your decision. Okay, that's not how YouTube works. It would be very cool. It would be very cool. These are the fans I'm thinking of using. The Lian Li P28s. These are a new Lian Li fan, like uni fan, but no RGB.
I like it.
I think they look really cool. They're very, very heavy. So let's do a build and test the thermals. let's take a look at the thermals of the Montech 903 Air Max. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the thermals are absolutely excellent because this case is relatively open, and if I'm being honest, the 7800 X3D just doesn't get hot. There's nothing we can do to make it extremely warm. As well as that, you'll also notice when we pull the mesh filter off the top of the case that the thermals come down a little bit. And when you're mounting radiators or liquid coolers at the top of cases, I always recommend that you remove that top filter unless there's a reason that you need to have it in there, like debris falling into your PC from the top. You can check out our video talking about all this stuff in the description down below. As far as all of the rest of the hardware used, I show it on screen as we're building so you guys can see what everything is, so we don't have to cover it again. But there's a PC part picker list down below in the description if you want to see what all of that stuff is. Okay, what do I think about the Montech 903 Air Max? Well, the 903 series of cases falls into this budget area of cases, but that's not to say it's a bad case. When we looked at Montech cases over at Computex in Taipei earlier in the year, one thing I kind of reiterated was the fact that a lot of Montech cases are just really good quality cases in general, and they're too cheap for what they are, if that makes sense. So you're buying a 903, you're paying from $65 US for this case, but you're getting a lot more case than you bargained for because the build quality is really good. I'm still not sure how they're doing this. It's confusing, but I'm not complaining about it. Montech, don't make your cases more expensive. Keep them as they are, because I think in the next year or two, Montech is gonna blow up more than we've seen any other case company blow up in a long time. They're making some excellent cases, and it's not just me saying this now, it's everybody. This is the consensus for people who have used Montech cases and have checked them out. They're just great cases overall, which is kind of why I felt like I didn't want to dive in and go too deep with this case, because there's nothing that I can think of that I don't like about this case. It's perfectly fine. It looks good. The build quality is good. There's no compromises with building. Cable management's fine. Mounting stuff is fine. I just had no problems with it. And if you're interested in these new Montech 903 cases, there's a series of them. They start at $65 US. It's already just so cheap. Let us know what you think about a white PC with no RGB and mainly white components. As far as this build, I think it looks great. There's a few things I would love to have done differently, and it's mainly down to me not having the parts to make it do what I want. Say for instance, that vertical GPU bracket, I wish I had a white one. It just would have taken that little bit of black out, but you can't really see it. I know someone's gonna comment about it and complain about it because, you know, the internet, YouTube, that's just what people do. I'm gonna veer off track, but I was watching a podcast about this, and they were like talking to another YouTuber, and they were saying something along the lines of like, they don't know anyone that would comment that kind of stuff in comment sections like in real life, and that person would never say that in person. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, you just wouldn't say that stuff because it's weird. So anyway, I mean it's kind of great at the same time, but yeah, anyway, a bit off topic here. The other thing was I wanted to use sleeved cables for this build, but at the moment, if I'm being honest, I don't have nice sleeve cables for the 12 volt high powered cable and for 24 pin power cable. So I thought that the stock cables from this Cooler Master power supply looked fine. And the reality is, with the cables in the system, you don't really see them. That's also why I didn't go out and try and buy some cables for it. Not to mention that buying cables in Australia is near impossible. Yeah, I'm from Australia, believe it or not. Apparently Claire doesn't have an Australian accent. Apparently that's really
What is an Australian accent?
Yeah, what does that mean?
We have lots of different accents. Someone
said to me that I had a really odd Australian accent in person and they were Australian.
That's funny.
We had like a delivery guy say it the other day. I'm like, what?
That's funny.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Just chuck another shrimp
Maybe I do have a weird accent.
Maybe you're just weird.
I'm just weird. Like, I mean, we know that already, guys. Come on. I also listened to you guys as well. I used a GPU support bracket, even though the GPU was vertical. And for me personally, I don't care if it sags a little bit, if it's vertically mounted. And I know you guys care. So I tried to make you happy, but I wish that vertical GPU support bracket was white as well. But other than that, this is the first white PC that we've done without RGB, and it just looks great. I love it. I love the look of this, and this is something that I would probably put on my floor, because you guys know how I feel about PCs being on the desk. It does look great. I thought adding the little clock in NZXT Cam looked cool as well, because like I didn't want it to be RGB at all, but I wanted to use this cooler because I thought I could put an analog clock in it and it would still give it that analog feeling. I don't know, I'm rambling now. If you guys like the music you heard here, I make all the music. If you want to get early access to all of our videos, well, not all of them, but most of them, head on over to Floatplane. There's a link to that down below in the description. Please subscribe. I love you all very much. So much more than you could ever imagine. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your no RGB boy, Nick with Gear Seekers, who puts his computer on the floor. You peek, we seek. And go and check out what we found out about my computer, at least, that sits on the floor with dust and stuff. There's a video floating around here somewhere that you can watch that, hey, maybe you'll learn something, or maybe you'll just tell me that my house is too clean.
It's really not.
It's really not.
It's dirty.
It is. It's pretty dirty. If only you could see on the other side of the camera right now. We cleared space so we could film everything for it to look normal, but there's about 14 cases sitting in the lounge room now. So yeah. Thanks for watching.